All right. So this morning you're having some, weakness following yesterday's. I guess you could call it a rally attempt. What do I think about VCX? What are you? What are you playing here? Are you looking at it as a value play you're investing in? Just IPO and you like them? You're looking at it as a chart play? Well, yeah. I mean, the thing that you have to understand is and this is my opinion, and it goes against a lot of what you'll hear, but I think it's easier to find deals in public companies than it is private companies. Does that mean you're not going to have a SpaceX that's worth a gajillion dollars every now and then? No, but you'll find a lot of mispriced opportunities in the publicly traded market, and I think it's easier to find it there. But I haven't done any due diligence into these guys, so I couldn't tell you if it's a good idea or not. But the overall idea sounds great. Yeah. But I don't, you know, I can sit here and tell you, hey, I'm comfortable owning, $10 million of HRL, right? I know what they're going to do. I know what their money's going to look like. I know what their future cash flow is going to look like. Um, so it's just a little bit harder to do that with stuff like this. And you get paid for it as well. That's why, I mean, look, this thing is already up 700% from the open. It's like, I don't know. um, yeah. So again, guys, I don't want to get political. I don't care if you love Trump, think he's Jesus incarnate, or you hate him and you think he's Satan. The only thing that matters is, do you think Trump's lying about having talks? Because that's the only reason we bounced yesterday. So if you think Trump's lying, right, we're probably going to go lower. Um, if you think he's telling the truth, you know, then buy the dip, right? You think the war's going to be over soon? Yeah, buy the dip. I think he's lying. Um, but I could be wrong. Um, so it's opportunities to short on pops like this, and or what I do is buy dips on uh, charts that are just going gangbuster, like dumb. Um, Now with that, do you guys know who Tom Lee is? The not the drummer guy. He runs Funstrat. Um, he uses hard data. That's why I like him. But the guy's like a permabull. We could drop nukes, and he'd be like, "Well, the last time we dropped nukes, we were up 20 days later, or whatever. Like it doesn't matter. He's always going to say buy the dip. Um, but if you can show me hard data and say, hey, this is what I'm historically, this is what it's done. Great, you know what I mean? That's an edge that you can play historical, see it works. But he does this monthly webinar where he'll say, hey, here's some picks, and he uses a guy named Mark something, I forgot. But Mark is a great technical analysis guy. He doesn't care about fundamentals or anything. He just uses charts. And I want to show you. Yeah, Mark Newton's his name. Um, so what they do, they have this fund strap large cap core list. So they have this ranking that they do to look for stocks to play. And here's their top five to play for this month. You can take a screenshot of it if you want. I put them on a watch list. And if you look at the charts, they're actually pretty nice charts. If you were to look at using Nate's TPS method, right? Like look at this Jeeve, right? Looks beautiful. Daily TTM squeeze, looks great. Another one is OKE. This is a you know benefit of the war company. They will benefit from rising prices. Beautiful looking chart as well. Daily TTM squeeze firing long. TPL's another one here. That's flagging out. Looks great. Looks like it wants to come up here and hit all time highs. Um, Now PWR, I don't think this is off from memory. I think they do more local construction, but still nice looking chart. And then they had Sats as the other one. I'm not as big fan of this one. But the other four I think are great looking charts. So anyway, I'm going to add those to my watch list to look for next month, um, and play those out. Then they have uh, the same thing on small to mid cap companies, and these are their. You can take a picture of this one as well if you want. These are their top five picks for next month for the small and mid cap. And again, look at this chart. This chart looks beautiful, right? Fix. It's $1,400 stock. I don't know how the options are and stuff like that, but they looks great. And then another one is Light. Now, Light is one that I've been playing for a long time, and you know, I caught this run. Literally, it went up from 680 to what was that, 780? Went up 100 points. I bought I think it was open range break at 701. Of course, it trail stopped me out on this pullback, but I also bought it yesterday. Um, and made some good money. And what it's done is you actually have an inside day. And so does COHR. So both of these has an inside day. So I've got those set up. Um, and if there is buying in the market today, I'm willing to play these again. I don't know if there's going to be or not, to be honest with you. I think Nate said that he thinks we're going to go close that gap below, and I tend to agree with him. And then another one that I really like is AAOI. You can see you've got this good looking base that's coming in. Look at, whatever you want to call it, double bottom, cup handle, whatever chart pattern. But you got room really to up here if you can break this higher level. But in this shorter time frame, you got a little pop yesterday from some news and after hours about securing a contract. But you also have this little, W pattern that is trying to break this next line from 95, and it's got room to 98.90. Um, you know, up to 100. So there's 4 or 5 points there that we could capture if this gets a little bounce. So that is one that I am watching as well. Um, Another one that I am watching is Fro. Um, Oil and gas popped up today. You know, trying to buy a pullback or a gap close or something like that, or an open range break or a pre-market high break. I'd be willing to do that. And then of course, SLI just rallied nonstop yesterday. That's on the watch list, and PLTR was strong yesterday. I tried swinging some of this. It actually went up in after hours, over $1 for my entry, so I was able to take some off. But I'm still holding it. I just kind of want to see how it's going to react today. So we'll see if the strength can hold. But that's one that I'm watching as well. NBIS is one that I'm watching as well. They did an offering to raise money, and they got I think a price target upgrade or something. Um, and that's it. You guys have anything you want me to look at or anything that you're watching? Yeah, gold doesn't look good for long, in my opinion. If you're looking for a little bounce, then great, go for it. Um, but I mean, it's just, it's ugly, right? It looked good here, and then it just broke down. So let me show you what, again, this is what Tom Lee showed. Got the gold up here somewhere. Is it? Uh, yeah, so if you uh if you look at gold, the last times it's had a decline like this, over 10% or whatever, um, gold was lower 12 months later every single time. Um, but the SPY was higher, you know, every single time as well. So there's a guy on Twitter too. I forgot what he called it. I think he called it the nine red birds or something like that. He said he's been trading like 45 years and he's only seen the nine red birds a handful of times, and you're always lower 12 months later. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, I think that's so for me, um, you would think gold would be a safe asset people run to with the war, and if inflation keeps going through the roof, maybe gold does get a bounce. But from a technical perspective, it's not pretty. um, yeah, LWLG did real well yesterday with the some of these other names like TSEM, Light, etc. Yeah, I like LWLG, and I am continually playing this for sure. Okay, we got 5 minutes here. I need to change. Great idea. Give me a second. Okay. Dow with a bounce. Let's see. Um, I mean, I'm not a really big fan of this chart, but it could. For me, I, like since I've been in this group. I don't remember when I joined, but since I've been in this group, guys, like I've always been bullish, and I've always been buy the dip, and I've always been like, let's get aggressive down here, stuff like that. I'm just not like that now. Like, it's not a situation where, yeah, do you need to use it? Use it. It's just not a situation where I'm like ready to jump on board. Like again, I don't want to sound political. I don't care what you think about America, the Trump, the administration, but I think that what he did was a self-inflicted wound, and there's no off ramp, and we're going to go into a global recession. That's what I think. Um, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. And so I don't know. I'm just not real eager to be buying stuff unless it's, you know, oil, gas, energy. Now these AI plays, I am definitely willing to day trade, scalp, and MU's earnings were insane. Like, they were insane. But look what's happened. Like, it's pulled all the way back. So I think trying to dip buy these companies, absolutely. Um, I'll play value areas. On the SPY, these are things that I drew up at the beginning of the year. So I'm not going to change. Not trying to bounce it from here. Like, I'm going to try to bounce in value areas like I always do. But it's not like I'm in a rush to buy this and hold it and not stop out. And when I am buying dips, I'm extremely quick to take profits. Like, I'm much quicker to take profits, and I'm trading with smaller size. So it's like, remember at the beginning of the year, I said, hey, if I make 10 to 15% on my account this year, I'm going to be happy. Right. And that just kind of shows you the attitude that I had coming into the year. Now it's like, maybe we should just all take a break for a couple weeks and go play some golf. Let's all go to Nate's house and hang out. Just we can order a bunch of stuff from Amazon, and he won't even know about it, and we can put it in his garage, right? But anyway, I am playing things like KMI, oil and gas, VG. I'm in, heavily. So anyway, all right, we got 2 minutes here. Yeah, I don't know how active I'm going to be today, but we'll see. Let the charts tell us. I'm not opposed to anything. Um, but so top watch out the gate for me is AAOI, FSLI, Light. Those are the three. Um, what are this week's 30s going for on FSLI? Yeah, I think trying to play those might be worth it as well. Okay, so I got some AAOI and I got some FSLI, and um, man, FSLI. I mean, AAOI is already. So AAOI, I'm going to take partials here. I mean, that thing just went. Jeez, you cover that range completely. So, well, if you did not get this, I would wait until we're above this 102, or we get a pullback on the AAOI. Man, we're above it. Let's do it. Partial. And light took off as well. I did not get that one. I got two of the three right out the gate. If F slide breaks this 2750, that will open the door for a pullback into the 2650 range. So I will add there and put a stop loss just underneath on F slide. AOI, here we go. Bam, I love it. All right, another partial in AOI. I am down to half, and what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to put a hard stop under 98.90. Yeah, yeah, I'm getting faster with the new platform. I can get two out of the three. You know, normally I could get seven right out the gate with with E-Trade Pro, but I got two of three, so hey, improvement. Like going for this side daybreak already. Let's see, the high was 766. Man, this thing can move. Look at this, 30 to 60. No, 32-point move. We're up $30 today. You know, no big deal. If you got 100 shares of that, you made 3 grand. I think ONDS had a upgrade today as well. You guys are playing ONDS. Oh, they have earnings today. So earnings on ONDS. I've got 325. Is that wrong? So this AAOI, like I don't know if anybody's in this, but again, you've got this little hiccup here on this group around 110. Um, so slow. All right, so light just took the inside day up. Give me. Are you thinking of shorting the SPY? Is that gap close? Yeah, I would. I'd pick a short against the gap close level. The important thing, Patrick, is to make sure that you understand where your risk is. Like, when does a short stop becoming a short? Like, when should you the chart tell you to get out? And for me, it's about six. It's 657.90, so about 658. So with that being said, am I going to short at 656 and stop out at 656.50? No, I would use between 655.50 and 658 as the zone to short against. PLW going to. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Did you see this 2 day inside candle here that we're breaking out of? So the high was 135.26, right? So we're breaking out of that consolidation and starting to go. So I'm trying to play this as a breakout. I like it as well. Just anytime you're playing a breakout, always keep tighter stops. Yeah, yeah, I can. Here, let me show you. Let's see. So if you look at the VP from yesterday, right? Like if you're like, hey, um, if we look at people that bought in this area, right? They're all sad, and if we get above them, that means all the sellers that are stopping out at break even or just trying to get out are done. They're out. So if we break above this level, all of these people are now satisfied, and all the sellers are gone. And so you've done what I would call a failed breakdown into a gap that should have closed and reversed, right? Like it's like, yeah, I'm going to get out the way. So if you just look at this line right here, it's 658, right? And so you're just using the bulk of these people. That's all it is. Does that make sense? So again, if we were to just probably throw in an anchored VWAP here, it's probably going to be somewhere around there. Let's see. Yeah. So you see how that anchored VWAP just comes right to that 658? Does that make sense? So again, you're just playing. It's all for me. This is just how I trade. You're always playing against the other people and whatever they're doing. Whoever's sad and whoever's happy, you want to be on the side with the happy people. um, you're in light too, Nate. Nice. Okay. So if 650.87 is the low here on the SPY, 50.90, there's the crack. Okay, so new lows on the SPY. So now from the technical perspective, what you're I know you sweet one school. um what you're looking to have happen now is the retest would be about six, here, I'll show you on this. Like the same idea, what we're talking about. So like for the SPY to close its gap to the upside today, we'd have to reclaim 650, 250. You see all these people that bought right in between the first like 10 minutes of the market or whatever. So that would be the level that would be a reclaim to close the gap to the upside. That would get us to the short at 656 to 658, right? Otherwise, we should love you, buddy. We should be going down to gap close from yesterday. Where's that level? 648. So I'm willing to try a bounce at 648 if we get there on the SPY. DG ripping, baby. Yeah. I just trail stopped out of the AAOI on the remainder. So we must have done a quick pullback. Yeah. The bond markets they're really ramping. Yeah. Yeah. All right, SPY. Gonna do, buddy. IRBX because it's not a ticker. Maybe IBRX. Yeah, IBRX. You just got the ticker in wrong, Jonathan. Hey, I do it all the time, Jonathan. I do it all the time. I'll be talking and I'll say something like, "Yeah, Kirk, I think," and I'll put in the ticker Kirk. You know. So just FYI, Nate's saying that he's cutting this IBRX because they came out with some bad news. As a chart trader, there's nothing you can do about when news comes out. You know what I mean? Like you never know when bad news or good news will come out, and it usually, in my experience, you usually, you know, just paying attention to charts and not catalysts, you usually get about 50-50. You get bad news and good news that comes out. All right, so light and AOI starting to bounce. Now the SPY would need to break 652, 652.50-ish to say that this is a false breakdown. Otherwise, that would be a short. So like here, I'm just gonna role play this with you guys, okay? I'm just gonna do this with like 100 shares. So just like up here, I'm going to short this SPY. And the reason when you're good at trading that you really don't care what happens because you're always going to get another opportunity to make your money back. And if you play it over a long period of time, you're going to make money, right? So here's the idea. Very, very myopic approach here. See this VP right there, right? That's what we're shorting against. Okay. So, if we were to look at a 15-second chart, you know what I mean? Like this is very, very, very tight window here. Okay. All right, I'm filled on the first one, and the second short is in at 652.25, and then I will stop out and actually flip it and go long if if I get stopped out. Now, what I don't play is a broadening pattern. Does anybody know? Does anybody not know what a broadening pattern is? And the reason I don't play broadening patterns is because I hate them. A broadening pattern is when you're breaking highs and you're breaking lows. So like in this instance, what it would look like, see how we came in, we put a high, we put a low, or what if we just followed these chart patterns out like this and it looked like a megaphone, right? And then we come up here and we break highs, and then we come back down here and we break lows, and then we come back up here and we break highs, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I hate these patterns. I hate them with a passion, and I will not play them. So if that forms, that's gonna, stop me out. Okay, give me 1 sec. So this is a cover point. So I'm gonna cover half right here. So that's what a broadening pattern is. Um, so now are we gonna have a little inverted head and shoulders and break this neckline and stop me out, or are we gonna come over have a double bottom W pattern, break the neckline? What would be right here? Are we gonna roll over and hit a descending type triangle and roll, right? Which those are the patterns that you're looking for now. Yeah, PSX is getting up to our 100% level here. Are you still in this, Tommy? Are you still holding this long term? Yeah. So this is you're getting that 100% level from our entry. Um, but I'm actually still holding some from over around the 100, 110 mark as well. So if you wanted to take some off for 100%, great. But I still think we can get to 200. Okay. Um, where is MU? Uh, So MU is actually coming into a bounce spot. Man, you got this gap close. Um, yeah, I'm gonna try it. So, guys, I'm gonna try to absorb MU. Again, I'm doing it with much smaller size, but I'm gonna use a $10 range. You see this box? I'm gonna break it into three buys. Right, this is where I'm trying in between these two lines to absorb some MU. Right, here is your descending triangle level, right? Like it's going to be putting in a lower high comparative to this one, right? You're going to stop somewhere in here, right? And that would create a descending triangle and a probable break of this low. If it comes up here and does a double top, right? It's like, okay, well, now we got a double bottom that may break higher, create a W here, stop me out of the short, and we may need to switch long. So you actually are having more volume now on this base. So what has happened here doesn't mean it's going to work or it's going to go up, but what has happened here on the SPY is you are getting more volume on the peeps underneath you. And that's what you need before a break if it's going to try it, right? Like, yeah, the VP's longer over here now. You had a little bit. This sumo wrestler's put on some weight so it can take on the top sumo wrestler. So it has the ability if it wants to try to go. Um, so Chris, don't think about it from a timing perspective. Like it doesn't matter if you're using the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the hourly, the daily. None of that matters. Think of it like you want to get as detailed as possible in the zone. All right. So here, I'll show you in one sec. Sorry, it takes me a while to do this now because I've had to move everything around. Um, whoops. There we go. Okay. So like when you're looking at this zone, we need to dig into these people here, right? And get as detailed as possible. And then over here. So to do that, Chris, what do I need to do? Well, if you have TradingView, you can look at this on 1 minute. You can just pick the time and it'll pull it up. But TC2000 doesn't allow that. And so I have to use the shortest time frame that I can see this block in, right? And it's right here. And so, what time frame can I get down to see that area? You see what I'm saying? Like, so the 5 minute will definitely show me. So I can now zoom in to this area and get as detailed as I need to get. So sometimes it'll be the 30-minute chart, sometimes it'll be a 1 minute chart, sometimes it'll be a 5 minute chart. It doesn't that doesn't matter. You just want to get as zoomed in as possible to see it. Does that make sense? And again, this is just how I trade, guys. Like if you got some of this MU, like this is a sell point. Like for me, you've caught a bounce, and when you guys hear me say, "Hey, when we get into these zones, um, your odds of a bounce are 75% or whatever on that first hit." What I'm saying is somewhere between this zone, it'll bounce. It may bounce at the top, right? It may bounce in the middle, it may bounce at the low, but you're going to get a bounce. And so, however you set up your buys, sell that bounce, right? Because what's going to happen after that? Well, you need to come back and create some kind of pattern, like a W, like a double bottom, like an inverted head and shoulders. So, wherever MU goes, it'll probably do something, like this, and then come back down, and then give you a double bottom, and then maybe go up again. And so, the way that I trade is I'll absorb these zones, right? And buy the dip, sell the rip over and over again to create a situation where I'll have an opportunity for a uh, large profit or a small loss. That's how I set up my asymmetrical bets, right? That's the way that I've created my edge to do so. Does that make sense? All right, so the SPY is hitting that area, right? The area that it should reject, right? We've created that sumo wrestler right at the bottom. It got fatter, so it can wrestle against this area if it wants to. Does that make sense? So it basically when Nate says this has legs, this has the legs to get up and through. That just means it's bracketed, it's consolidated, and it's got the legs to get up and through. What do you guys have on the spot? It looks like my TC2000 data is lagging. Yeah. Okay. So my E Trade was saying it was ripping up, but my 38% is what you got. Yeah, that data lag there for a minute. Okay, so guys, what was the level that I said it needed to reject, right? This is again what I'm talking about. It's like you break these into buys and or shorts, however you're doing it. So if you were able to catch the upper level short, this is literally a cover point. So it's like that 652.50 area is the rejection area. Well, now you're bouncing back and forth in between the two sumo wrestlers, right? And who's going to win? Well, it looks like to me the base has more of an advantage. So it looks like it wants to go up. Doesn't mean it's going to, right? And so short, short at the top side of these people over here, cover at the bottom side of these people over here, stop out above the 652.50 and flip it to long if we get above that level. Does that make sense? Again, so you're just playing in between two zones now, and we'll figure out which way we want to go. Is this confusing to you guys? I don't know if this helps or, this is just technical analysis, auction theory, understanding how charts move. So AAOI did a double bottom here off of its zone, right? These three lines. Um, I'm not in this, but I am willing to get back in it. I'm just waiting to see what the spy wants to do. And light has a nice little intraday flag as well here, right? Set off the waterfall of stop outs for the shorts if that breaks. Okay, you're getting to your do or die moment here. Spy gonna have to choose the next couple minutes. Tesla's performing pretty well from considering that this chart pattern broke down. It's nasty. Um, Big order on Iran. You think Howard Lutnick's in there buying something? Walmart. Yeah, yeah, nice play into that. So, right, look for a reclaim of the VP here. If you get that, you'll probably break out right here. What's Costco doing? Yeah, similar. Yeah, I am. I am recording. Absolutely, John. You guys just got to remind me to upload it to YouTube. um, I uploaded yesterday a video. You guys remind me in about 30 minutes, and I'll share it with you guys. But I'm helping some friends learn how to trade and showing them how to trade small caps. And we traded Ugrow yesterday. I've got all that recorded. So if you guys want to watch that, understand why I targeted Ugrow for a long versus the 90% of crap companies that end up not making new highs after 11, 12. I uploaded that one yesterday too. So here I'll show you like on light we should go now. So we're cracking out. So this is algos should start buying new highs, and then it should trigger here, here, and then new high a day, right? And the SPY should follow along with that, right? Like that's SPY's going now, right? So you broke down into this gap on the SPY, and you didn't close the gap to the downside. That's showing what? Incredible strength, right? We should have closed that gap, but we didn't. So it's time to flip and get long. Does that make sense? So like, all right, we tried to short against that small little VP here, but we held. And so now it's time to flip and get long. Well, if we make a new high here and then we roll over and make a new low, what pattern would that be? Yeah, AOI is looking good. Um, that would be a broadening pattern, right? That's the patterns that, like, if it just rejects here and it comes over and makes lower, it's like, ugh, no, thank you. By the time a broadening pattern is seen, I've already stopped and flipped once or twice. So it's like I'm done. So if you bought the breakout of this light, again, this is a partial profit area, this line, right? Double top, new high, look for a little U, a cup and handle, whatever you want to call it, a pullback here. It needs to hold this group of people. If it does, you should get the boom, boom, and then you should break and get up here to this high of day and take out high of day. Now, if the SPY puts in a broadening pattern, will that happen? Probably not. So same idea on AAOI here. As it double tops, look for a quick pullback and little U handle or whatever you want to call it. I just want to look up the options chain here on AAOI, see what's traded. Some GLW call sweeps hitting flow algo. So somebody bought some deep in the money onto September. 400 400 contracts here on this. So you can see the SPY, right? Pulling back, and now it's retesting. So just like we said, that level, old support, new resistance, right? Old resistance, new support. Same idea. This area has to hold, or you're going to create some type of, inverted head and shoulders, you know, reversal pattern that'll break this down, and you should go in and hit lows at that point. So that level is going to be about VWAP 651.75, right? And that's going to line up with your handle here, right? There's your handle, same idea. These areas need to hold. Hmm. So on the SPY, if you're willing to try to bounce this, right? Like you buy this value area low, which is about 6 VWAP, right? It's 51.70ish. And think of it as the value area high will be about 652.50ish, 42ish, and you'd want to sell a portion of your 651, 50ish buy right now. Right? There you go. And so again, all we're doing is we're playing the zone, right? All right, great. And we've caught the retest. So from an option perspective, this is giving us, from basically 146 to 186. So the option is giving you about 40 cents. The at the money. Um, so for me, what I'm going to do is put in a hard stop where the other half I'm risking 10 cents below my entry. And if it rolls over, I'll trail stop out and take a small win and probably be like, all right, I'm not trading the SPY anymore because we're just broadening. MU looks like a failed breakout on the daily. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Does look like that, right? But again, all you have to do is hold, right? King Fib. So it's like if you can just hold this area, this 379, right? Well, then what will you have? Well, you'll have a shoulder, head, shoulder, right? And you'll have these two playing against each other. So on the SPY, you're doing the exact same thing you were doing a few minutes ago. Is it going to be an ascending triangle, W, a neckline, right? Same thing that we were doing in here. You're doing the exact same thing here. All right, we're under this zone. Let's see what kind of pattern it's going to create. Is it going to be a descending triangle? Is it going to be a W? Is it going to be an inverted head and shoulders? Who knows? The chart will tell us. Has anybody seen any charts diverging today? They're like have just been going up versus what the SPY's been doing. Um, so as Jewel, the answer is always going to be supply outweighed demand, right? Like that's always going to be the answer. The question that you should be asking yourself though is what are the people like the whatever group of people you're trading with, what are they doing? So like day traders, people like what I'm doing today, the scalpers, the all that kind of stuff. Well, we've made a new high, right? So what does a new high represent? Does that make sense what I'm asking? So like if if you're breaking and making a new high, you're going to have a lot of people coming here trying to buy this breakout looking for a gap close. Okay, well, knowing that if you are a market maker, right, this is a way to create liquidity. So what you have to ask yourself is after every new high is it going to be just a liquidity chase? And a liquidity chase is just you're going to try to um, break it above this level to let all the day traders, the algos buy it so you can create a surge of volume that allows you to dump some of your shares because you have the order book and you see that there's a lot of selling pressure here and we need to dump our shares and bring the price lower to get more, right? And so the only way that for me, the only way that I've been able to figure out, hey, is it a liquidity trap? Is it not a liquidity trap? Is it should I short? Should I? It's just to understand the only way for the market makers to continue the price up and continue the price down is to keep the people, depending on what you're doing, shorting or longing, keep the people underneath you happy. So for the SPY to close its gap up here, now these people need to be happy right in this box, right? The people that were buying and risking. If they can keep these people happy, if they can hold this is just a retest. If they can't hold this level, you're going to come back down and you're going to have to test the lows here because you're going to stop out all the people that were not only here, but here as well. Anybody that was holding partials like me, if like, how I'm like, hey, it trail stopped me out. Like, all right, you're going to hit this waterfall of stop outs and you'll probably break lower. And that's going to be your broadening pattern, right? And at that point, it's like, all right, yeah. So we really don't want to go anywhere. It's just going to be a sideways. You know what I mean? It's there's no discernible pattern that's saying, hey, let's trend up or trend down today. It's just going to be chop fest, right? And it's like, I don't really trade in chop fest. Or okay, I can identify that it is going to be chop fest. So let me buy every dip and sell every rip because that's what you should do on a broadening pattern, right? You just buy every dip and sell every rip. Does that make sense? So I know that's probably a lot, but that's how you should. That's how I trade. That's how I know all good traders trade. Like they understand these things about the language of charting. Yeah, there was an explosion in Texas, and what I read was it was like 3% of refinery capacity. That doesn't help oil prices for sure. Did anybody see, like, from my understanding, it was just an accident, right? It wasn't like a targeted, terrorist type thing, right? It was just an accident. Has anybody seen anything saying that it wasn't an accident? But overnight, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't look at it this morning, but overnight, Israel attacked another energy infrastructure in Iran, and then Iran retaliated, targeting another energy infrastructure in Israel. So it's like, let's let's blow up the whole world. So just looking at the spy chart, what is happening right now? Susie Q, do you use Trading View? Is that what you use? I think if you're using Trading View, I think it's called VR. It's Visible Range Volume Profile. Um, in Trading View, that's what I would use. Yeah, so use Visible Range Volume Profile, and the way that I set my VP in there is you should be like, yeah, because you called me in the first hour. Get out of here. So do you see how on here we've got this VRVP input style, Susie Q? Um, this number right here, you can adjust this number. Like I think I did it at like 99 or something like that. Um, but I try to get this number, whatever number gives you the biggest detail. Like if you put in like one, then you just get these huge blocks, right? So I don't want huge blocks. I want super details. So like on VRVP, use 150, Nate. So yeah, so like I don't remember what it is. Whatever, there's a certain level that you get to that stops affecting it really. Like you can't go to like 9,999. Like it's not gonna matter. So I just get it to whatever the highest detail that you can. So 150. Okay, so what I was saying is like here on the spy, if you look at this, what's happened here is you actually created a higher high. Does this make sense? You see this higher high that was created in comparison. So like that versus that. And then when you create a higher high, you're supposed to go. Okay, well, we didn't. So like think of it as zones within zones. So like you're this little zone and this little zone up here that you're going to be bouncing back and forth between. You didn't. Okay, so now what do you have to do? Now you just have to hold. Just have to hold. Be careful. So if you're long, right, like I would be putting in a hard stop right underneath this level because it's creating a head and shoulders. Like so, there's your head, there's your left shoulder, there's your right. And so if it breaks down, it's like all right, you're probably going to come down here. So I would have that hard stop in now because I don't want to be caught in a flush. Now that I'm trading just smaller, I'm trading smaller size. Like every single winner that I have, I'm just angry that I'm not bigger size. Is that how you guys always feel? Like in VG, like I'm pretty large in this. But in comparison to the normal size that I trade, it's not big. And so I'm like, I don't, I feel like, is it really worth it? Making a few grand here and there, it's like, why am I even trading? Go over AAOI? Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, so AAOI is doing the same thing that the SPY's doing. So a lot of times you'll hear Nate say, "Hey guys, the trade didn't work out because the SPY's going down." Right? Well, it's hard to get a stock to go in the different direction than indices. Sometimes you can, sometimes you'll get some that are diverging, but a lot of times you don't. And so if the SPY is going to hold this level and bounce, you're going to get your, think of it as a cup and handle type play on the on AAOI. If it breaks down and rolls over, you're probably going to break down and roll over on AAOI as well. For me, the zone that I would be playing in the AAOI here is this entire level. I'd be playing this entire box, right? So it's like boom, boom. If we can hold these guys, you should get your pattern that looks something wherever it comes in, be it here, be it here, be it here, right? Maybe there, and create that bird pattern type look on AAOI. And the thing to understand, guys, like this is something that I've said 1,000 times, and I'll keep repeating it, is when I was learning how to trade, I thought that Nate and other people that taught me how to trade, I thought they knew, hey, this is going to go up. This. Have you guys ever heard Nate be like, "Love this chart, I'm buying it. We're gonna. I wish I might throw my whole account into it." He'll jokingly say stuff like, and he just loves it, and it's like, how did he know this one's going to go up? How did he know this? And that's what I always thought. And the answer is no one ever knows anything. You're playing. You're taking shots at probabilities. That's all you're doing. And you try to find the edge gives you a higher probability of winning than losing, right? And so, is the SPY going to go up? I have no idea. Is AI going to go up? I don't know, but I can tell you that this chart pattern usually leads to more upside. It usually leads to this gap close. That's usually what it does. Is it going to do it this time? I have no idea. So I hope that it kind of explains the AAY and any of these others, light, any of them. Like, right, they're going to probably follow. Oh, wow, look at that. What? Give me one sec. So Tom Lee's tweeting about ORBS VCX, which has a stake in OpenAI and Anthropic, trades at 25 times, and Orbs now is 30%. OpenAI trades at 1 times MBAV. Man, is he just turning into a straight pumper? Is that what he's doing? Um, so again, just like on MU, just like on everything else, when I catch a bounce, like if you're playing this handle, I personally would be taking profits as we move up and away from your level so that you can allow yourself to partake in the upside while protecting your bottom side. Just the way that I trade. Remember on MU selling the partial, right? Again, you need a double bottom and inverted head and shoulders. You need some kind of chart pattern. The V bottoms are very rare. Doesn't mean they don't happen, but V bottoms are very rare in the market. You need some kind of bounce to allow people like me to take profits, sell off, and to verify that there is demand at that level. HRL bouncing today? So it's holding, right? It's holding that level. So now we've created another uh whatever chart pattern you want to call it, cup, handle, right? See it? 1, 2, 3. We should break. Should go. Yeah, SLI held at 2750-ish area. Hopefully it can turn and get to that 30. The and if the markets can get just a little bit of bounce, you might get light over 800. So crude oil, Brent's up over 100. Okay, guys, I'm gonna jump off. Been on about an hour and a half here, but I'll be in chat. I'm gonna sit here and watch these charts. Does anybody have any questions for me before I jump off? Again, if I were you and you're newer to trading, I would literally say, you know what, I'm going to trade max of 5 shares and just trade like I traded today, every day, as often as you can, as many times as you can. Try to get in as many reps as you can, and that helps you learn the language of charting. Like it helps so much. He'll pick things up that you've never recognized before, and you're learning to play the game without losing tons of money. All right, guys. You guys stay safe, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, let me stop the recording here.